Alright, so today we are putting up signs. Start with right here. Cool. These signs will not be staying during the winter because I'd have to stain them and whatever else. Bad enough that they're going to suffer the elements of freezing and rain, that I don't want the signs to suffer the elements of snow, etc. Unless anybody's got any creative ideas or any expert ideas that you might be able to fill me in on how to better preserve them. The person who built them says that they're preserved for element use, but I don't know. I'm skeptical, and I always see something. I think it's decks or whatever. I guess it just needs regular maintenance, maybe, or a top quality stain or preserve, something like that. But anyways, like I say, for now they're going to stay up. Big part for this upcoming week's tour. If should anybody want to go through the trails, at least they're guided and marked out. And then we'll pull them out probably end of October, sometime November. So. This is what we call the dump. This is where we store everything. So rocks like you can see ahead. And then there's a wood pile. I'm going to turn a bit. There's a wood pile, and then we got some stacking stone there as well. Some leftover from the retaining wall in our garden. So I don't want people to go through here. They're going to see it. I mean, hey, it's just part of farming and sugar bush living. It is what it is. But this is what, like I said, this is what we call the dump. It's easy to get to and get anything that we may need later on. So. This way, Stella. Good girl. Good girl. Which is called the cedar patch. We give these names to identify for troubleshooting, and just cute to give a name so we know exactly when we're having dinner, when we're talking, explaining about what's going on. We know exactly what area of the sugar bush or the property we're talking about. There. That beeping and buzzing you hear, that's Stella's GPS. It tells me if she's grounded or still or running. Yip, yip. Hey, there we go, good girl. So it seems to be missing a sign called the Oak Patch, which is right here to our left. I mislabeled a bunch of trees when we first took over. I thought a bunch were oaks, and turns out they were actually maples. So, but at the very head of this trail, which is also at the end of the garden, there's a very old and very giant oak tree. So we decided to keep the name. That being said, I don't have a sign for it, so I must have forgotten to ask Erica to have one made. So we'll get one done and we'll get it later. So now we have the D trail and the C trail. So D trail is short for diagonal trail because it cuts diagonally across this part of the bush right here. So we have the C trail. C trail is named because it forms a C around this corner of the property. And again, the D is diagonal because it cuts right across the C trail. So at the other end of the D trail meets up with the C trail, Pump Shack Lane, etc. Stella! Come on! Yep! What's your GPS say? See if you can see this. That direction is roughly 51 yards. So, oh, she's coming. She's coming. Come on, Stella. Come on. Oh, she's sniffing something. Come on, Stella. Hey, look who popped up out of the bush. Hey, good girl. Good girl. GPS couldn't even keep up as fast as you. Hey? So another mistake that I made here was assuming that this patch to the left, where I'm about to put up a sign, were all spruces. And as I learned by hiring a forester, was that they're not spruces, they're balsam firs. So another valid reason why you should always hire a professional for things like this, especially something so important as a forest. Spruce I can have in there, so at least I can keep the name. Remember, folks, it's about having fun. I think that's what's most important for me about making maple syrup and sugaring, is that it's the fun that's involved, the happy time I get to spend with my dogs, the dinner conversations with Erica. Good girl. Good girl. The one thing you can notice here on the left hand side, there's a lot of stumps. Those were all the dead trees that I posted in the video back in April. All the dead balsam firs that we cut down, and you can already see the vegetation growing on the floor just by adding more sunlight. So one thing to note is some sugar producers believe that there's such a thing as too much clearing and allowing too much sun to hit your trees, and therefore the bark splits prematurely. So I haven't seen that yet, but I'm still a very young sugar maker, so we'll wait and see. Our trees are still fairly small in comparison to many sugar bushes, so time will tell. But honestly, I haven't heard anything from professionals in regards to that adverse effect. Something to note here is, so if we go back to 6 minutes and 20 seconds where I was at the other end of this trail on the right hand side, this is the bottom end of the D trail, or short for diagonal trail. So right now we're at a junction where the left hand side is the C trail, which continues behind us. We're parked on there right now. And then the right hand side is the D trail, which is short for diagonal and cuts across at the other end, as I said, at 6 minutes and 20 seconds in this clip. So something to note, oh, she's down there. Something to note that if at Christmas time I put a post out for some of the signs that all had dog's name. Stairway to Indy, Georgie's Pass, I think it was called. Those are for Canis Valley in Coe Hill, in Hastings County, our second sugar bush that we're going to be starting up. So the theme here, when we moved here to this place, we saw a lot of signs that pre-existing signs that identified like Spruce Patch, High Road, Low Road, which I'm going to mount new signs to continue that legacy. Is that correct? Legacy? Let me know. Anyways, so we continued to carry we decided to carry the same theme here. And whereas Coe Hill, there's no labeling there, then we decided let's start our own legacy there and come up with, use our dogs' names. Canis Valley Maple, since Canis Valley Maple is an extension of Canis Valley. So, hi! She went all the way down, came back up going, where's Dad? Hey, hi! You happy? Hey, are you happy? Hi. Hi, hi, sweetheart. Hi. Hi, yeah. Hey, good girl, good girl. All right, more signs. Come on. One of the things to note here is the original owners that built this property were very fond of creating a trail system for the main purpose of creating breathing room for a forest. You would get to use that trail system, for your own personal benefit, but really the forest benefited from that, from being able to breathe. And when I presented this to the forester, he fully agreed with it, no matter how you want to go about it. So a forester would say, thin out your forest, here's what you want to trim. But the original owner, Guy, that was his name, Guy, he was a big fan of, like I said, creating trails to allow room for your forest to breathe. So this here, so this is our pump shack, or pump house. I finally put the door on last night. Before it was just a piece of plywood to cover it for the season. That was it. And then I have some work to do there. I'm going to drop it down 6 inches because the water's never really been as high as I thought it would ever got here. As a matter of fact, there was no water. It was just very mucky, which is all the gravel that you see in the front. All my tubing storage is on the right. There's a little lane there, about 20 feet deep, that, you know, it's perfect for the amount of tubing that's required here for the next year. And then all this gravel and crushed stone that you're seeing is all the work that we did in the last 2 weeks. So I did this over the last 5 days. The gravel's all done in 5 days. And then yesterday, the young man that we have here on that we've employed for the summer, we did, I would fill up the gator, and then he would come out and spread 5 tons of gravel throughout the trail. So I'm going to continue on, and what you're going to see is the building of the new road across the valley to the sugar run. Oh, and while I'm parked, I might as well put the other sign up. Sugar run. So right here, right there, is a culvert. So the pond that you've all seen Stella and the other dogs swim in runs right here down at the bottom of the valley. This is our lowest point, and Stella knows exactly where the deepest part of that creek is, and she just took herself for a swim and a drink. So now we're entering the sugar maples part of our property. We've got a lot of sugars throughout, but this part here seems to be the most condensed and the most difficult to get to, which is why I built that road across the valley. So now we can effectively, or more efficiently, bring our tools and tubing across to be able to set up our sap lines for the next season. Management this past since May, really, because I knew there was whatever trees, they weren't going to affect the nearby sugars, but as you can see, the that guy right there, that fell, and then, or sorry, right there, that fell during our ice storm because it was dead. And right here we have another tall tree, sugar, that is sort of alive, but the inside is very hollow. So one thing that's really important to us here is the barred owl. The barred owl is a rodent hunter, and is practical and useful for us here in with your sugars, because rodents such as squirrels like to eat your lateral lines, your smaller rubber lines. They like to chew on those and create little pinholes that you then have to chase in March. So the researchers state that I mean, any bush management should be done in the frost or in the fall, late fall, so October, November. But in this case, because the tree is hollow, we don't know what could be living in it, and we don't want to disturb it until it's gone. And they recommend, again, some frost, so October, November, for that to be done. So that's when I'll cut that one down. Hello. So this part of the forest is really nice because of the diversity in the ecosystem here. So we've got sugars, tamaracks, or not tamaracks, sorry, hemlocks, ironwood, yellow birch, a bit of white birch, cedars, and balsam firs. So the firs we were told to cut down. The cedars are too dense, so they need to be thinned out because they've pretty much all died. And then the yellow birch we're leaving, as I believe it's either endangered or it's a rare species, so it's recommended that we leave it. Same with cherry wood. So now we're turning back towards the highway, and there's some deer fly. Deer fly were horrible this weekend, as they usually are in July. And of course, I've got the Spa bus tour coming up and doing some work. So, but it is what it is. So, our trail that is yet to be built, but it's this clearing, and that goes to the point of the property. So another about 600 feet, and there's another roughly 300 sugars to be tapped out there. 250 to 300, I'd say. Am I exaggerating? I won't know until I get taps in, but the rough count suggests it's different every time. 260, 280. So we'll see. Hang tight, Stella. Hang tight. I'm just going to put up another sign here for the other end of the sugar run. So we just drove through all those sugar maples. So here, this crossroads is high road, low road. So something I want to make note of here is about Stella. If you'll notice, she keeps turning her head back to check where I am. She can hear me, obviously. She's got really good ears, but she's always checking right there. And she stops just to give a quick sniff, but she's always turning her head to see exactly where I am, right there again. This is a learned behavior through training in the last 3.5 years. Really the last 2. We worked really hard with this on Stella. I should have been praising her right here, and I was paying attention to something else. So thankfully, she's picking up on it. And if you'll notice, if you remember throughout the rest of the video, anytime I called her, she was always nearby. This is so much better than the behavior that we've been experiencing in the last 3.5 years. Even through distractions today, when she was bored while I was hammering the stakes and the signs into the ground. So I'm so proud of her. So one of the reasons I left the GoPro running here in this one, Stella's swimming. She's so happy, which makes us happy, obviously. One of the reasons I wanted to keep the camera rolling on this one, this would be a lengthy video, providing YouTube allows it, because I just have a basic account for now. Anyways, I wanted to show the trails, see what we're walking, because you don't really know, you don't really see what we're seeing. And I don't know if I should post the map online. It is our home. If it was Coe Hill, I wouldn't have any hesitations about it. You could always go online or Google Earth if you wanted to and take a look, but you can't see the resolution through the trees. Like the resolution is not good enough to see the trails. So, but anyways, that's why I kept it rolling, and these are the last 2 signs I believe that I have for now. And then that'll be, I'll take a video back up to the house, and then that's it. So for those of you who don't know, I have ADHD. There's so many ways that you play this. I could go low road, so it's lower, and push the sign in lower because it is low road, so it's going that way. Haha. Or you can just make them equal, like that. They're not identically equal, so I have to stop looking at it and carry on, and maybe come back and adjust it later so my wife can have a good chuckle at it. Anyways. But you can see the old signs up on the tree. We don't nail anything into any trees. Anytime you do that, you cause a tree an infection. It's like climbing a tree with spikes. If you're going to do that, you might as well cut the tree down, because chances are an arborist could say otherwise here. They are the tree surgeons, but our cleats and spikes are not to be used on trees, to the best of my knowledge, unless you're taking that tree down. Which is why they climb that tree. They'll limit and then cut it down in however big the sections are, depending on their rigging and space available around them. So, but anyways, that's the last of the signs. I will take down the other signs at some point. I just have to talk to Erica. We didn't exactly establish what we were doing with that. I'm not one to collect things. They're not really collectibles. I guess you could refinish it and then post it up somewhere, but that's like carrying a Coca-Cola sign from the 1900s, and I'm not that guy that collects stuff like that. So, hey Stella, hey, good girl, hey. Oh, you got a deer fly out. Oh, there we go. Wait, come here. Oh my God, these guys are chewing you. You gotta go back to the house. Oh, your poor ears. Okay. Thanks for watching this far. If you've made it to 31 minutes, you've now seen the trails of Canis Valley. Thanks so much. We'll see you on the next one.